Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Instagram at Younique Yet Connected. You are now listening to episode 69 of Younique Yet Connected podcast. The theme for this episode is there a lonely side of freedom in a relationship?
At the independent stage, you feel that you have left behind the stormy waters of the counter-dependent stage. You have had enough of the constant fight and came through more willing to look for solutions instead of proving your point in the relationship. You are stronger and more secure about what is important for you and what is not.
Hello, brilliant souls in and around the world. Nolitha is my name and Tolokazi is my clan name, and this is episode 69. A warm welcome to Younique Yet Connected podcast. As always, Kinga and Nick are on the other side of the virtual. Over to you, Kings.
Thank you, Noli. Hello, Nick, dear listeners and co-editors. I am Kinga Silaji.
Thank you for joining our movement of translating this wisdom of systemic family constellations into a practical language that all of us can easily understand and, most importantly, implement in our daily lives.
In our series on the healthy development stages of a relationship, we reached a new development stage, the stage of an independent. If all goes well, when you get here, you left behind the war zone of the counter-dependent stage and enter this new phase. Many of us believe a modern relationship should allow or even require you to be independent. It sounds great. But as always, let's wait and see if your opinion stays the same by the time we finish chatting about this stage. Now I would like to read a quote from Nelson Mandela. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. For me, when you achieve this, you mature to the highest level of the independent stage. I would love to scrutinize this quote with you, Noli.
As you know, Kings, I love independence. And even as a child, I've always been aware that it means a lot to me. At a certain point when I was growing up, I learned that it comes with responsibility. The part of the quote that reads, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others, is compelling me to question myself even further. How open am I to the freedom of another? I know that I want freedom for myself and I'd like that to be respected, but do I carry on in my marriage in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of my husband? I feel I still need to interrogate my openness to another's freedom.
Yes, this is good. A good question. I wonder what would make you not to be open to the freedom of the other. What are you afraid of? What would you lose when they gain more freedom? Would you be open to looking into why the other's freedom frightens you a bit?
So, Kings, I never thought of it in that way, or I don't even remember it coming up as something that I need to think of freedom in relation to another person's freedom. I've always thought of it in a sense that freedom comes with responsibility. And I guess in this sense, it's opening up the responsibility that I have in respecting and enhancing another person's freedom. So maybe I'm realizing that I've always been selfish about freedom, especially when it comes to a romantic relationship. What does independent stage mean? Does it mean I let you do what you want, think what you want, and I do the same? Is it possible that it can come from a deeply hurt place, in a sense that when you've realized that you don't want to fight anymore, or does it come from a joyful, genuine place? You know, because I know there are people who give each other freedom based on I've given up on you.
Right. Well, again, good questions. The quote I've just read sounds great. And as I said, it is something to strive for. However, working on your independence and at the same time allowing your partner to work on his independence is not as easy as it might look at the first glance. It can be a lonely place where you find yourself. I mean, lonely in the relationship. At the independent stage, you feel that you have left behind the stormy waters of the counter-dependent stage. You had enough of the constant fight and came through more willing to look for solutions instead of proving your point in the relationship. You are stronger and more secure about what is important for you and what is not. And this is a good thing. But in a relationship, you are more focused on me than on us.
It sounds like a big relationship risk to be more focused on me. Please help us understand, why is this happening at this stage?
Good news here is that with growth, the independence will lead into the inter-independent stage. At this stage, you are again able to focus on your partner, but at the same time also on yourself. Choosing to focus on the relationship is different from the codependent phase, when you do not exist separate from the relationship and your partner. You need the codependent stage for your relationship to be able to get through the growing pains of the other stages. Your behavior in the independent stage is similar to the childhood stage, when you start to want to do things on your own. Dress and feed yourself, clean the house while your mom is away. What comes into my mind is the question of why it could prove to be difficult to allow the freedom to your partner what you expect to be given to you. On a practical level, it might come from the fact that there are things that need to be done in the household. When you are utilizing your freedom, you would like to spend your time with the things that are important. To be able to achieve this, the other person has to step in to do some of the mundane tasks. And step in on the way that it doesn't make you feel guilty. I wonder what happens if your partner doesn't pick up the pieces that you have left for him.
Yeah. So from my experience, it can also create friction. Why does this sound familiar? I guess that's where the part in the quote about respecting and enhancing the freedom of others is about. You also said that it can be a lonely place in the relationship. I don't know which stage we are in my relationship right now, but it kind of feels like we are entering the independent stage. It doesn't completely feel lonely, but I can feel that he's not around as much because of his new ventures. There are things that we used to do together that we don't do anymore, and I'm not sad about that. I still enjoy them on my own, and the fact that I can focus on myself and my ventures makes me very happy. So it feels like a nice freedom era where I'm loving the fact that it's not just about the relationship. What you have called lonely place for me is missing him. And then I contact him, when I miss him, and he would be very excited. I'll be very excited to see him, to talk, to connect with each other. So yeah, it's a kind of a good place. And this is a change. Maybe at this stage, as the stage progresses, it could be quite lonely for us. I don't know. But I hope that we will be able to express that to each other. You are still listening to episode 69, and the theme is there a lonely side of freedom in a relationship? Remember, when you comment, ask questions, like and share our content and links, you help us grow and change lives together. Like us on Facebook and on Instagram. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Nolitha.
And I am Kinga.
Join us for a transformative experience, the Womb Goddesses Circle, with Younique Yet Connected.
If you are seeking healing from trauma or craving balance and connection, this event is for you. We'll guide you through meditations, energy work, and practices to gently release old wounds and restore harmony.
When your womb space is balanced, everything else falls into place. Experience greater well-being and deeper self-connection.
Join a safe, supportive circle of women on the same journey.
Don't miss out. Check the caption for our next date and click the link below to explore more.
Spaces are limited. Book your spot today on our website for a circle of healing, sisterhood, and transformation.
We can't wait to hold space for you. Let's reconnect with our womb wisdom together.
See you there. I love that you said you were missing this person. Shows that you genuinely want to be with him. Otherwise, you would just happily carry on doing the things for yourself and forget about the other person. This is the time when you learn to spend quality and not quantity time with your partner. The quality time you could have spent together is not utilized by your partner or yourself. You can easily become one of those relationships that fall apart after 55 years because they feel that they don't have anything to say to each other. They just drifted apart and there is nothing to connect them.
What I'm understanding is that the loss of connection can easily happen at this stage. So couples need to be mindful of how they use the quality time. One can easily take it for granted that the independent stage is challenge-free, and it can be taken for granted that they still need to deepen the connection. You know, the quality time could be used to talk about bills, children, and other problems instead of deepening the connection of the relationship. This reminds me of how my husband walked into our bedroom the other day, and he just sat at the end of the bed and started discussing business. I was like, no, stop. No, I don't want to hear about business right now. What I needed after we've been busy focusing on ourselves was quality time to connect with him. So I need to be mindful of that.
When you met with your partner for the first time and started to date, during the day you would go on and do your things. But when you meet up, you would be talking about feelings and how you see life, about your thoughts. You were not talking about what you were doing the whole day. The danger at this time is that you have been together for so long and reached this stage of independence. Together you lived through the counter-dependent stage. It feels calm, it feels okay to only speak about what is happening in your everyday life and nothing else. Person who says that this is not enough for me made to feel like causing trouble unnecessarily.
Oh, yes, you're quite right. They seem to be causing problem because they can feel the lack of quality and connection in the relationship. So the less focus on us and more focus on me or whatever you are doing independently could be a risk in the relationship if you don't nurture this stage. This makes me feel that it's important for the couple to understand the stage their relationship is in so they can both nurture it accordingly and to get through to the next level. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, very important. Then you also often feel that you are building your career for the relationship. To be able to build it, you have to concentrate on it, never realizing that by bringing in more money for the family, at the same time you are also increasing your independence. You have to be able to understand that for your partner, this might not be enough evidence of your love.
Wow, now I understand why it won't be enough. This brings me to gender wiring. We know that men and women are wired differently, and most men tend to focus on one task and cannot multitask as most women can. I feel because of the difference, the wiring, that I'm building a career or business for the success of the relationship or family we are building can be a trap to most couples to fall into. Sometimes it can be that both people are focusing on their separate successes because they believe that it is for the relationship. especially for the women, because she can, do the stuff at home and do this and do that and do that. And then everything could feel like it's for the relationship. And with your experience, Kings, with working with connection in relationships through the constellation work, would you say that maybe the language becomes a factor when it comes to the stage? How do couples still find the common language or the language to speak with each other in a way that they can understand what they need from each other? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I think yes. We very rightfully, but accidentally, brought in an important theme to discuss, the love languages. Quality time is one of the 5 love languages, and we will talk about it in the next episode. Then also, what does quality actually mean? We have already mentioned quality time. Is it possible that both parties want to give something of quality to the other, but it is not appreciated by the other? Is it not appreciated because it's not seen, or even seen in a different light? Is it possible in love languages that you speak different languages and need a translator to understand each other? Dear listeners, do you know your love language and your partner's? If not, do a test to find out. There are many free ones available on the internet.
Some people who are in their 40s and 50s tend to explore the meaning of their lives and rediscovering themselves, finding new things that set their souls on fire, refining their purpose. I feel that one could easily forget that they have the responsibility to their partner or spouse's freedom. I would like to go back to the quote you read at the beginning of this episode by Nelson Mandela. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. So how do you enhance this relationship? The freedom that you have, which you are enjoying. So it's nice to be able to be in a relationship where you feel you are comfortable with each other, that you could be independent of each other and build something of your own. If you wanted to build your own business or you have a business together, but you are finding your own voice or some part of the business that you are running with and your spouse or partner trusts you with that, how do you then still enhance and respect that person's freedom as much as you are respecting and enhancing your freedom? That is my question.
As we have started talking about this important stage, we can see more and more that there are a lot of insight to look forward in the upcoming episodes.
This is where we end this episode, dear listener. Remember to do the love language test or quiz for the next episode. Please help us share this episode to help the next person and grow our podcast and keep on producing this content.
Thank you for your contribution in helping us to be chosen into the top 10 South Africa Family Podcast by FeedSpot. Join our monthly virtual connection circle every first Tuesday evening of the month. To receive your link, subscribe on our website www.youniqueyetconnected.com or check for updates on our socials at Younique Yet Connected.
In the next episode, we will still explore the natural stages of a romantic relationship, still on the independent stage.
If you feel like you are experiencing limiting patterns or relationship issues and would like to have an individual session, book a family constellation session with us on our website www.youniqueyetconnected.com or on socials, Facebook or Instagram. Our handle on both platforms is @youniqueyetconnected.
A big thank you to you for listening to our episode, and to Nick Mons from That Guy Productions for making us sound fabulous and on point. Episode 70 is in 2 weeks' time from now. Tune in on the 4th of May, 2025 from 10 a.m. South African Standard Time. For links and updates, stay tuned to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Younique Yet Connected, Younique spelled YOUNIQUE. Stay unique, stay connected, and remember, you are one of a kind, and we can only create a really meaningful podcast together. Siyabulela kosonom bayadanki.
Thank you. Siyabulela kusunum bayadanki.